maybe about 2 years ago, following her on Periscope and just kind of watching her journey. Now, I'm 43 years old, so I was looking at her and saying, if I can do this all over again, I would be doing what she's doing in her 20s. So she's 26 years old, already have been awarded with so many accolades, and one of them in particular is 40 Under 40, that she was recently rewarded with. And I admire the fact that she is 26 years old and has this drive about herself, that she recently just got licensed as a real estate broker. She just started a new company called Flipping in Heels. Cute. All right. So I want to introduce Rashauna Scott, and she's going to be talking about private company. Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
So she answered the question that I was going to start off with, like, how would you guys think I am? Because that's the number one question that I get. So yes, I am 26. Again, my name is Rashauna Scott. I first incorporated my business 7 years ago, or 2011, 7 years ago. So yes, I'm a real estate investor, so I'm an investor first. So I do some private investing as well as I raise private money for my deals and other deals. I just recently got my license because it just made sense to be able to better serve my clients full service. And as she mentioned, 40 Under 40 Young Women Professionals League. So I was awarded that in 2016. And now I actually serve as an executive board member there. I was also just inducted into the Black Luxury Realtors Council. So it's a nationwide platform for realtors who are listing properties at least a $500,000 price point plus, and for it to be a network to I guess you can say prestige individuals who don't know that people in the industry can serve them at that capacity. And I'll just give you an example really quick. A lady found me on Instagram. She was moving here from California, and she saw me and she was like, hey, you know, I'm coming. I got 700 credit score. I make $100,000 a year. I've already been working with 2 realtors, and I don't have any paperwork with them, but I saw you and I want to work with you. Just like that.
All right.
Okay. All right, let's do it then. So that, and then as she mentioned, Flipping in Heels, which is a online community for, and I love the fact that, so Savvy Chicks in Real Estate is for, you know, women who are real estate agents and real estate brokers, so you can definitely be successful in that. But Flipping in Heels is more so for the investor. So we talk about, you know, how to become an investor, what it means to be an investor, because a lot of people don't know there's levels to it, as well as we are partnered to raise money through crowdfunding as well. So just a whole list of all of that good stuff. So when I first started in high school, I found out that, you know, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to be successful. There was a guy at my school, he was doing a career day, and he was saying, you know, I work for AT&T and I make $60,000 or $70,000 a year, but even though I work for AT&T, I do not depend on AT&T to take care of me and my family. And that stuck out to me, and so much, you know, I still tell the story 10 years later. So even though he worked there, he owned 400 vending machines across the city of Chicago. So he explained to us, you know, how much it cost to fill it up, and then how much he made when it was empty. So again, right there, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be successful. I'm not gonna depend on, you know, somebody else to take care of me and my family, but I didn't know how that was gonna look. Fast forward a couple years, started reading books, going to seminars, workshops. I said real estate is gonna be the way. And little did I know, I had already had a love and enjoyment for real estate because I moved around a lot when I was younger and loved going to open houses. Anybody love going to open houses? Yes. So love going to open houses. And then, you know, like I said, I started my business, got under a mentor, and invested a lot of money in education. So, and I was able to do that because my credit was good. So yes, good credit, business credit. By the age of 21, I had a $20,000 business line of credit. So everything she is telling you guys about works. I did those same exact steps. So Granger, Uline, Quill, and then you can upgrade to, you know, the gas cards, the store cards, like everything she's talking about, it works. So yeah, so I invested a lot of money in education. And then my very first investment, I was 23, and I was able to invest. I was so excited, guys. I was able to invest. Somebody allowed me to put my little, minimum pay dollars into a deal, and it was $2,500. So, it's not a lot of money at all. Again, I was 23. I was working full time and in school and all of that stuff. But there was a flip going on in Bronzeville. It was a condo that they were going in and rehabbing. And I was like, look, I know the minimum investment is $5,000. I only got $2,500, but I really, really want to learn. And whatever you need, I'll show up at the project every day. And and that's how I became, I guess you can say, involved with investing. Fast forward, I've invested much more than that today. But I tell that story because I know we do have some young people in here, and you have to start somewhere, right? And that's the number one thing that I get all the time, because I am 26. I get a lot of people who are around my age or younger, and they say, well, how do I do this or do that or get people to take me seriously because I'm so young? And I'm like, you need to stop. That is an excuse. So that's my story. So with that being said, how many people in here ready to secure the bag? Oh, yeah. Okay, I need y'all to say secure the bag. Secure the bag. Y'all did a good first time. I was expecting to say, now say it again. All right, okay, so we're going to touch on 4 tips to raising private money. So again, as I mentioned, I'm a private investor, and then I raise private money as well for deals. And the thing I love about it is that I am raising private money from people who look like us. People who look like us, the everyday individual, and I'm telling them that, you're earning I'm exaggerating, but, you're not earning that much in a savings account while your money is just sitting there. And why don't you, put it into this project? It's a 6-month deal. It's a 6-month deal. We just got to go in, do some kitchens, some baths, whatever. We pay you out plus an interest, because guess what? Investors and developers, they're borrowing the money from the bank anyway. That's so right. Instead of paying the bank, why not pay you? Right. Right? Okay. So, 4 tips to raising private money. So, who can tell me if you came up to me, you said, Rashauna, I want you to invest in this deal. How many ways can I invest in that deal with you? Tell me.
Money-wise. Time.
Wait, I'm sorry. So, you said?
Money, time.
Okay. What type of money? Or how?
Liquid or credit.
Okay, so we got credit. So you can invest with credit.
Liquid.
You can invest with cash.
Right.
Right. Who can tell me what's another way?
What equity?
Time. Yeah. Anybody? Okay, so I guess it's a form of cash, obviously. So your retirement account. Okay. So did you guys know that?
No.
I know you. But yes, so you can invest in a deal with either cash, credit, or retirement account, or you can do a tax exchange. But we'll talk about that later. But yes, cash, credit, or retirement account. So that is important to know when you are raising private money, because a lot of your investors won't know that. So if you educate them and you tell them, they're thinking, oh man, I gotta have, thousands of dollars in the bank. They're thinking that, or I gotta have an 800 credit score. And then, but they're not bringing up the $100,000 that they have in their 401k, because you don't know that they can use that to invest. Right. So yes, you can invest in real estate those ways. So it's important for you to know that. The second tip is building credibility. So you need to show what you've done, or show what you're doing, or show what you know. Okay? And I say that because, people, again, you're young, what do you know? Well, I can talk about what I've done, what my partners have done, and I can show that as well. So, Makita, like she said, we've been friends on social media for a couple of years now. She know I'm always showing something. We over here, we over there, we doing this, we doing that. Our investors just made, $6,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 on this deal. So people are seeing what's going on. And so, make sure you guys are doing that. The next tip is, you can host events. So a lot of you guys, I was listening to the intros as we were going around. Some of you already own investment properties, which is great. So why not have an event at your property, and it can be something similar to this, it can be whatever, and you never know. Your investor may be in that room, and because they're coming out to a tangible asset that you own, that gives you credibility.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. All right. The fourth one is learning how to speak the investor language. So, again, so that's definitely knowing the type of returns that are out there. So, on average, we pay out about a 10 to 12% return to investors. And that's probably, and hard money lenders, which I'll touch on in a second, hard money lenders are charging maybe, it can range, honestly, maybe 10 to 15, depending on the experience level. I've seen it up to 30. You start talking about hard money. It's hard, okay? I've seen it up to 30. So, because you can speak to those things, you can say, well, in this deal, we're paying out this, or in this deal, this person is making this, or at the bank, you're making X amount of dollars, on the stock market, you're making X amount of dollars. So if you can speak the investor language, then they become familiar with you, and they're like, oh, this person must know what they're talking about, okay? How many realtors in the room? Raise your hand. I just want to say who I'm talking to. And then I know a few people said they were looking at getting their license too. So with that, I actually just did a deal where speaking the investor language got me indoor. So it is a Lincoln Park deal. It is a townhome in a gated community, and a developer was going in and rehabbing it. And I was able to go in I have my realtor hat on now, because I was able to speak the investor language. I said, hey, you know what? Well, I noticed that every single time that you are showing us pictures of your listings, that you're staging them. And I know, because I know the investor language, I know you're paying at least $3,000 to $5,000 to stage your properties. What if I can come in and show you, or no, I'm sorry, not show you. What if I can come in and get your property sold before the rehab is finished? What if I can come in and do that? Because the it thing, everybody's watching HGTV, everybody wants to flip their own house, and to be honest, people really don't want to do that. They think they do, but they don't want to do it. They don't want to deal with contractors, they don't want to deal with the stress, they don't want to deal with the pipes bursting, freezing, whatever the case, they don't want to deal with that. What end buyers really want to deal with, they just want to pick out the cabinets, the granite, the vanity, they just want to make it look pretty. So with that being said, so you guys get that?
Yeah.
You're making a connection how I was able to speak his language, even though he's an investor. And to be honest, some investors don't really have a good perception of realtors. They think we're lazy. They do. They say, oh, you just put me in an automated system, you send me properties, and that's it. But because I was able to speak that investor language, I was able to get my foot in the door and bring him a full price cash offer in less than 30 days. So with that being said, again, so speaking that investor language is very important. And people ask me all the time, well, where can I learn about it? Y'all, YouTube University. I can tell you can learn just about any and everything you want to know on YouTube. And to be honest, at least 4 years ago, I was talking to an investor out in California, and I said, you know what? And they're raising millions. I'm like, man, that would be nice. Who would give me some money? How do you? And what I'm realizing that people aren't sharing this information. They're not telling you because they want to raise all the money and they want to do all the deals. But it's enough out here for everybody. So, we have to think of it from an abundant mindset. And as you start raising money, you have to share this information with other people as well. Because again, everybody gets to win because they're making more money than they are in the bank and that type of thing. So again, you have to make sure that the investor that you're approaching, that they understand why it's a benefit for them to invest with you. Yes.
I know we're saving questions for the end, but I just want to understand what you're saying. When you're using investor as in somebody that just wants to give cash and get a return, not necessarily a person that wants to buy a piece of real estate.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm glad you asked that because there are different types of investors, absolutely. But I just wanted to stick to funding today. Okay. But yes, so yeah, because that's a way to get funding. You guys do understand that. Like if you want to go in and fix and flip a property, you can do that by using all private funds. Okay. Yes.
I want to just, you light bulbs are just going up everywhere with what you're saying. I don't really know the investor language, obviously, like you do. That's why I'm here. But I knew enough to get by. I want to give you an example of something that also just happened. I called on a property about 4 years ago, and I didn't know the person that owned the property. They actually called me back about another property they own, where they actually are willing to not necessarily invest up front, but they were willing to literally trick out. It's a new establishment that's being built, retail space. They actually, because I could at least speak to them in a way where I obviously knew a little bit, they are actually willing to trick out the entire space and do all the build out without me having to spend a dime, and then just charge me once it's done.
Oh, wow.
Which is a whole different. I didn't even know that was necessarily possible, but that was a way of me saving money. And but only because I could talk to them a little bit,
Right.
not nearby like you, but talk to them in a language that obviously said I knew enough
Right.
to make it make sense for them to make that investment.
Awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, so creative financing. So a lot of deals can be done using creative financing. So to back up, so we talked about cash, credit, or retirement account. So after I invested my first $2,500, my next investment was $20,000, and I did it all on credit at 0% interest. So again, what she's talking to you guys about credit, business credit, it works, and it can be done, and it can be unsecured to your personal name. So there are ways that you can do that. But yeah, so that is in regards to private funding. And again, maybe some of you aren't comfortable with talking to individuals, going up to the person and just asking them, hey, do you have $50,000 that you want to invest in as a real estate deal? Or maybe you don't have your deal yet. Or maybe you don't have the experience yet, so you may not feel comfortable. So with that being said, I do also work with several lenders that I send clients to all the time. So hard money lending. And I'm just going to break down some of the average requirements for you guys so you guys can write it down. So when you are ready, you know what you need to get in order to bring to the lenders, you know, so you can get that money, so you can secure the bag. So you usually need a minimum 620 credit score to go to a hard money lender. The better the credit score, the better the interest rate. Like I said, it can be 10 to 15%, 8 to 15%. When you're closer to that 8, you're probably a very experienced developer and have good credit and a relationship with them. So for your first deal, to be honest, you're probably looking at about 13 to 15%, which isn't terrible. Okay. Most companies will do a minimum of a 6 to 9 month loan. Okay, so again, this is not traditional financing. This is for investing only, not a personal residence. Okay, the minimum loan amount can be $50,000. Okay, and again, that's an average. Sometimes you have some lenders they're going to be 75 as the minimum. I do have a lender that will go down to 50. Okay. If it is your first deal, the lender will want to see about 50 grand liquid. Okay. And again, that's just to show that you have the money to pay the monthly payments and pay the draws on your first rehab. Okay. And usually will reimburse you in quarter draws. Okay. So and this is mostly like for fix and flips. Yes. Oh, 2 minutes. I'm sorry. Okay. So as far as your experience, if you have at least one completed flip in the last 2 years, then you don't have to worry about that 50 grand. You're going to get up to a 95% of your rehab costs. Up to 95%. So, again, you do have to have some money in the bank because lenders want to see that you can make those monthly payments, especially most of the time it's going to be an interest-only loan. So they want to see that, you know, the interest, that you're able to make those monthly payments. And, again, get your rehab started. Have 25%. So, up to 95% of rehab costs or max 75% of the ARV, which is after repair value. You can invest in non-owner occupied units, so a single family home, condo, townhome, and multi-units. For traditional loans, it is up to 20 units, and then you're looking at getting with some commercial hard money lenders, and then they do new construction loans as well. Okay. So, like I said, the minimum credit score is a 620. If you have at least a 660, there is no income verification. For some lenders. For some lenders. And so that is for that particular deal. Now, as far as for those of you who want to do buy-in homes, let's say you want a single family home or 2 to 4 units or something like that. I do have a lender where again, a minimum 620 credit score. They'll do a 30-year loan at least 25% down. Okay. And I'm sharing this with you guys because a lot of people ask me all the time, like, how can I find the money? Where's the money? Who will give me money for this? And it's out there. I'm telling you. And I believe that's it. Okay. I'm sorry, what's your IG name? My Instagram name? So you can find me at Rashauna Scott and Flipping